Welcome to the Andrew D'Angelo podcast.
Constant Constance. Each week, Andrew, renowned jazz saxophonist and brain cancer survivor, invites us to look at the many worlds of his guests, with conversations that cover all the arts, human resilience, a little bit of politics, and a lot of humour.
You can't fail to have a fantastic time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. How are you today or this evening or whenever you're listening or watching this? Today we have two amazing friends of mine, Shelley Harland and Henrietta Weeks. Henrietta is the one you hear at the beginning of the show. That's her voice. And at the end of the show, also Henrietta. And she is a playwright, a poet, just a linguist, I guess. I don't know. And Shelley is a musician and has some songs, a song on a Netflix series and as well as on the UK pop charts. So we just had this very casual, fun, and relaxing conversation. I hope you enjoy it and you get the chance to just mingle about with three folks doing their own thing in three very different parts of the world: Australia, Mexico, and then I was in New York. All right, have a great day, night, evening, morning, middle of the night. All right.
Do you get what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, I get what you mean, but I think there's a lot of people out there like, okay, if somebody says this is bullshit, but this isn't, so then, give us a lame example in school, with your kids or, just generally in life where, for some reason, organic apples are $5 a pound and regular apples are 99 cents a pound.
Yeah. Personally, this is what I feel about it, is that the bullshit, no bullshit, like who knows? Because we can't know. There's too much that we're, I think that media is propaganda rather than information, really, of useful information. So it was already existing. And I think the coronavirus myself is just a real thing that's probably a part of the ecological catastrophe and the way that we live and eat. And so, there have been pandemics before. Here's another one. It's a new virus. But I do think that people, governments, that it's an opportunity to use it for, all kinds of malevolent benefits for them and their friends, and just kind of keep the people. But I don't know if it's a sort of malevolent, like, let's get everyone on lockdown so we can then, control people even more. It's just kind of, the whole thing was a mess already. The whole thing was a mess. Yeah, there was so much malevolence already that this is just a further sort of result of that. And so for me personally, the theory,
well, it amplifies the viewing of it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And also, it just goes to show that there's no real kind of infrastructure in place for a global pandemic.
Yeah.
Which, it's quite, considering the way we've been going, it was quite likely. So the whole thing, I just think it's sort of like a way of sort of exposing things. But I personally think that people get really caught up in a narrative that they just pick, because it seems like a good one. I mean, I definitely have done that myself. But now my narrative is I have no idea what's going on at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
At all. And just
I don't either.
What can we do?
Yeah.
And wherever one is, like you're in Brooklyn, Shelley's in Australia, I'm here. It's like, for me, I've had freakouts and anxieties throughout the year for many different reasons. But lately I've just dropped into this thing of sort of surrendering to the fact that, this is just an unknown from here on out. And so, I'll just dig into this sport. Even the traveling thing, I'm like, I would probably feel that way if I was in in Brooklyn, Andrew. But being here, I feel like, well, I'm in a beautiful place. You know, what can I do here? And also I just find like nature, birds, animals, you know, fresh air, the starry night sky, all very comforting.
Yeah.
And, you know, do you know what I mean? And I wish I'd like to be able to contribute something to people that aren't in this position, that do feel trapped, because we're all lucky to a degree. I feel lucky that I have company. I don't know how it would be to be alone right now. You know,
I mean,
to have no job avenues, no money, no health insurance, like it, you know, or people like in Mexico are working away, the poor people, because they have to, they can't just, you know, lock down and stay inside in their home, because they would have nothing to eat. That, you know, which is why I think it's fair that Mexico isn't in lockdown. I don't know, it's a really hard one to assess. I just don't know is the answer.
Well, I mean, I think, to be clear, I don't mind where I am. I mean, I do wish I could be, you know, traveling and stuff, but I don't know how it feels to both of you, but I actually have been fine during this.
I was going to say, I feel like you've been happy there.
I don't really care.
No, you've been happy.
I don't care if I ever go to another airport ever again in my life, to be honest.
Right.
And go through TSA and all that shit. I don't really care.
My only thing is that I'd like to see my family in England. Like, I'd like to have that passage. But otherwise, you know, I'm getting used to the idea that our sort of global travel that we were accustomed to is just kind of possibly not really.
I mean, I walked into my kitchen right before this Zoom meeting. So it's like, you know, I traveled.
I love it. Well, I'm doing a lot of travel around. I'm traveling to the library every day.
I know. And to the school. I feel like I've just been on a nice little exodus around the, you know, the pool and the town. And that to me is very exciting. Terribly exciting. Like, the new colors, the birds. It's like, it has given me a deep appreciation of just something of a small world, you know.
I think that is, you know, a prominent thing throughout, that people are coming out with a deeper appreciation of nature, because when you can't be in it and around it, then suddenly you're able to step out. That I remember when we first went into proper hardcore lockdown, and then I went out, I don't even know when it was, whether it was even a month later or something, and I went for a walk just along
here.
And I went for a walk along the cliff fronts. But I remember just feeling like just overwhelmed with the beauty of it all, but also just how lucky I was in that moment, because I'd been in this sort of lockdown fear and just stay here. I don't need to go out, just stay here. And then when I went out, just amazing appreciation for nature. I'm sure that would be the case for most people.
Right. Do you think that, I mean, to be honest, there are people talking like that, Shelley, you know, that we're going to appreciate nature more, and like hugging a tree is like one of the things that somebody said on the show. But I mean, you know,
for a minute.
Right. Yeah. All right. So you like totally right.
Yeah, exactly. We're all going to, become complacent again, I guess.
You think then?
Oh, mostly, 100%. Like if it suddenly was like, oh, everything's fine today, there'll be the appreciation moments, and then there'll be the like lock-in robotic stuff again, I think.
Thing is, I don't think that there's going to ever, or not for a long time, that everything's fine moment. I think it's changed.
Yeah, I don't think it's
changed in our life. I don't think it'll. Hang on, I'm just going to. It's really windy. I'm just going to block that door.
All right. Okay. Hey, Shelley, while she's doing that, I was watching one of those videos. Do you remember the videos you sent me? I'm not sure which.
I can't remember which one.
Right. And there are videos of the Black Lives Matter protests and stuff. And I think that was pretty much actually the whole video that I was watching earlier.
Yeah, that was the song that I put out.
Right, but hold on. When I heard the song without the video, I thought Shelley is sexy, man. And then when I watched the video and the music, I realized that you were nurturing. And I'm sorry if that is offensive to you.
Oh,
as
why
a
would
female.
that be offensive?
But
That's
I felt like you were like, kind of saying, we need to do this, and it's not great, but I love you all. I don't know. The word that came to me, was nurturing. And I was like, oh, at first I was like, all right, so Shelley wants to kind of fuck people. And then and then after watching your music, right, with the video, I was like, oh, she is uplifting us. She's bringing us to a comforting place. Comforting. Yes. That's also, even a better word.
I'm really curious. Can I just ask you, what was it about? Because it certainly wasn't the lyrics. So what made you think I want to fuck people by my voice? What that was?
Because I'm actually into MILFs, so we can go there. And I also know some of the people that took the footage that's in that video. Like, I know them personally.
Wow. Yeah.
They're streamers. And I was like, oh, I know. I can't say his name because he's gotten life-threatening comments. But let's call him Saul. We'll call him Saul. And I was like, oh, I know that actual shot because I saw it happen live. And then I saw it after the fact. And now it's in your video because your editor, or unless you did it yourself, it's in there. And I was like, oh, yeah. I know. Or Unicorn Riot is another one. He's from Breonna Taylor. Where's she from, Breonna Taylor?
I can't remember.
I can't either.
Right.
Yeah.
I can tell you the story of how that all came together. But more, I was just curious about if you just listened to my voice and you hadn't seen that. I just
thought it was sexy. I don't know.
No, I'm actually really curious about what the element is because you said that. So that's all. I'm just wondering because I'm not singing anything sexual. So I was wondering what it was. That's all. I was just curious because it certainly wasn't coming from a sexual place, but where it does come from, wherever I get really involved properly in a project, is just pure pain. And that's why I'm curious asking you what you found sexy, because actually maybe that's what you found sexy is that I was
probably
just being real and like you could
I like realness. Realness.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But also, for me,
you put words in my mouth. But go ahead. Yes, Henrietta. Sorry.
I was just going to say about Shelley's that song. What's it called, Shell? The
Fire to the World. It's called
Fire to the World. Yeah.
Right.
Every time, because to me, it's like I don't know any other words to describe it really than. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's like this primal force that literally. Like I had this energy shooting through my body, it's sort of electrifying my brain and my body and all my emotions. And because it comes from somewhere so deep, deep, deep inside of you. But I would say that's the depths of your soul, like for all of us, like you might have a moment where something will just suddenly come out and you know that it's like coming from, you've got nothing in the way. And that's why it's sort of like an activator.
Well, but that is the thing with that
and it's
song
sexual.
well.
It's the sexual thing.
Yeah, that's why I was interested in the word sexual, because that song actually, none of that's from me. It is from me, but it's not from me. And I think I told you that, Andrew. I'm not sure, but it was this guy sent me the music who was sitting in Long Beach, California, and he just got the news about Rayshard Brooks, and he's this black guy living there. Right in the heart of everything that's going on. I didn't know him at all, but he sent me the music. But it was a total vessel moment because I just felt like a bolt of lightning in my body. I just felt every.
Oh, she froze.
His track, and then I just wrote all that stuff. And we had no conversation. We didn't know each other at all. And then I sent that back to him, and he was just like, oh my God, you've just written everything that I...
Yeah, see, I just think that's hot. That's it. I think that's hot.
Yes,
and I have no idea
cool.
why. I have no idea why.
I love it. It is hot.
Authenticity is hot. Authenticity is hot.
Yeah,
But
totally.
also power, like that power, that raw power is like woof. Yeah, it's like it is. It's a sexy thing.
Sexy thing.
So
I loved that experience. It was amazing because it was beyond.
I mean, if I had to write a review, I couldn't because I'm not a writer. But so that's why I do this. And so when you asked me to explain it, I was like, I don't know. I just felt real. And that seems,
it's cool.
I
love
kind of sexy
I'm
to me.
fucking great with being sexy, man. Bring it on. Bring on the sexy news comments. Love it.
All right. We got our clip right there. I'm going to show it to our kids. And they're going to be like, Mom, Jesus Christ.
The MILF. The MILF. I like that you have a thing for MILFs.
Love it.
Well, is that bad? Are we being bad? Am I being bad? I don't know.
No, you're not being bad.
I like what? Just what?
Well, I agree with you. I think mothers are sexy. You know, if you're a mother and you've got lots of things going on and you're a mother, like that's pretty hot. I mean, I find it sexy. I wish I was one. I'd love to know what that feels like.
In context, Henrietta, Shelley and I had a conversation maybe
Here's
2
what
months.
it feels like. You're knackered, by the way.
Huh?
I know.
What?
Here's what it feels like. You're fucking knackered.
all the time. I'm like
Exhausted.
overwhelmed by
Knackered?
everything.
What does knackered
Oh yeah,
mean?
knackered. You don't have the
Laundry.
word knackered.
Huh?
You're white.
Knackered means like completely exhausted.
Right.
It's English slang.
Okay, so you're knackered, and then you play a song for your kids, and they're like, "Wait, that's my mom." I mean,
Can I tell you something about that was really cool this week?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure.
What?
So my son has just started guitar lessons, and he told me that his guitar teacher wants him to learn "Zombie" by the Cranberries. Remember that song?
Oh no.
I don't either. Sorry.
Oh, many years ago. You guys would have heard it so many times. It's like, what's in your head? In your head.
Oh yes.
Zombie. Do you remember it?
Yes.
So anyway, I said, oh, that's cool. And then we were driving along, and I said, oh, I've just remembered. I said, actually, just type into Beat Smash "Zombie" and my name. And they went, what? You're on Spotify doing that song, the same song as the guitar teacher told me to learn, like that. And I said, yeah, I am. Anyway, it was really cool. They put it on in the car. So the original is kind of rocky. But I'd done a dance version of it ages ago, and I totally forgot that I'd done it. Anyway, they were in the car. They were just rocking out, and doing all these dance moves. And it was a really sweet moment. It was on the way to school.
That's so sweet.
And it's
It
a
is.
moment in time as well where I'm still possibly cool because of it. That like at some point,
Right. You're like you have a little bit of
I've got a
chance of
minute.
being cool. Right?
Oh, I
Got a
think you'll
minute.
go on being cool. I think she's
I've got a
gonna-
minute of coolness, and then we pulled up at the school, and my little one said, "Mum, at musical theatre this week, I want to do a solo. Can I please sing one of your songs?" And it was
Aw.
really I felt like a hero that morning. I was like, yeah, man, I'm doing it. Anyway, that's all. It was a good moment.
Do you know Sarah Milligan? Do you know her, the comedian
No.
from I think Scotland? And her mom's answer to every she's getting really famous, which is great. Sarah is, and her mom's answer to every, you came out of my vagina, by the way, right?
Love it.
And everything every time she gets
Diffuses
150
everything.
yeah right $150,000 million, she's like, you came out of my vagina, and she does it with that accent. I won't even pretend.
I
It's
love
like
that
you can
too.
tell your son, like he might be 8 or 5, but you came out of my vagina. So,
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm sorry if it's like too offensive, but I love Sarah, and she's
No,
just
it's
like,
perfect.
you
Very
came out of my
good.
vagina then, and then
we do
like
forget
I made
that.
you, so
Yes.
you owe me like $150 million.
Yes. In fact, thank you for reminding me, because I think I'm going to start using that a lot more around my house. Empty that dishwasher, because I had to empty myself of you.
Empty the dishwasher. Oh my God.
Empty the dishwasher because you came out of me.
Yeah,
And
I'm loving it. I need to use it more.
It is
Right.
really, you do. Now's the time, now that they're getting independent.
Well, they have
of wit.
they do have great sense of humor. They've really got
Yes.
proper sarcastic, dry sense of humor. They get it.
Yeah.
So I know that they're going to actually crack up at that. So
Yeah.
that would be cool.
You're the kind of person you should pull out a diagram. Like, this is where you came from. Like, a
Yeah.
stick drawing. And, well, I have no idea because I don't have kids, but I know that the first thing I thought was sexy because I only half listened. But when I really got into your music, I was like, oh, Shelley is lifting up the world. Henrietta is lifting up the world with her, her creations. And, that's really, that's pretty much what my show is about. It's just having fun and saying things. Who's got their phone on? Shelley? Henrietta?
Sorry, that was
Not
my
me.
thing.
But I love what you
Apologies.
just said about lifting up the world, actually, because, whatever way you can do that is good, isn't it? That's what I want to do, in whatever way we can discover to do.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's the only thing,
And
isn't it?
it's the only thing, yeah.
The only
Yeah,
thing.
but more than ever, it's really wonderful to think about, well, there are things that I want to do, but there's so much to be giving to each other right now, more than ever before. So,
Such as
I
what?
think you wrote that song, Shelley. That song, there's definitely something to do with the time it was written in. If you think about it.
Yeah. No, but for me, that is what the medium of music is, and I wouldn't just have a clue how to live if I didn't have that. And that is essentially that, and it comes across many things, but often I'm sent music. So the intention behind, someone sends me a track, and my intention immediately is to absolutely be fully authentic in my delivery back to them. That's the first connection that's important, because it's just a human that's reached out to a human, and often that human has had to be very vulnerable and open in order to get what they need from me. So that connection to start with means everything to me, and would mean something to them. So delivering that, and then beyond that, going, what are you delivering to the world in whatever way it's going to filter out, however many people it'll filter to. Like that whole process, and me also just sort of honoring. I hate packaging it like this, but honoring the gifts I've been given.
Yes.
It's really important to me to know that, I'm trying to do that as authentically as possible, not a rush job, not a quick thing, not a sound like someone else, not it has to be, which is pretty exhausting, but I do honestly try to do that with every collaborative creation, because that's the point.
Yes.
Like, obviously, if I can earn some money from it and earn a living and all that stuff, but the actual point to my existence truly is that right there. And it's like, otherwise I don't really know
what the point is.
what I'll do, to be honest. I'll just be like, we talked about this the other day, the groundhog. It's like, if there wasn't that point, I just wouldn't even know how to be.
Yeah.
You said something to me on our phone call, Shelley, that said, and I believe I wrote it down correctly, but correct me if I'm wrong. Music is about spreading love and joy, not about making money. you have to believe that it is bigger than anything else. I think I wrote that down correctly, but again, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So music, what?
Yes, exactly that, 100%. I'm not saying that to be some sort of martyr or anything. We have to make money. We have to make a living and pay our bills. All of us have to, as a creative, in what we're doing.
Right.
But it can never be the first thing. It just can't. It's just pointless for everything and everyone. You know, it's like the more I recognized the magic that was woven in between obviously not just creating music from your soul. That's a really important, for me, that's a really important physical, daily, just thing that has to come out of my body. It hasn't got anything to do with an audience. It's only about a physical thing that's important to me. But you know, the more I sort of recognized that, the health, the therapy, what that does for me as a human, the more that I gave weight to how important these little threads of connections with people from all over the world, just that conversation that was important, that they needed to, you know, it's these little parcels of magic kind of really just happening. And the more I have learned from that, understood from that, recognized that it's actually very real and a thing, the more I've been able to go deeper in, tap into it, and therefore fully be more of a vessel and just let it kind of happen. And those things have kind of got stronger. And I can count on one hand at the moment how many, this is the collaboration side, how many of those have just, the more I'm sort of freeing myself up to that, the more that's happening on deeper, incredible, chilling levels where you just go, oh my God, I didn't have anything to do with that. That was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yes.
it's just, it's amazing. The more you lock into it and the more you're in it and really get it, that it's actually just what it's all about, those little magical connections, creativity, those, you know, little unspoken conversations as well between you, like when you're performing, H, and and when you're writing something, someone's going to read that and that's going to change something in them. You know, it's all magic. It's all magic.
I agree. I'd like to, for a second, something that H and I have talked about a lot, which is psychic abilities. I'd like to delve into that. Do you guys mind if I use the bathroom and take a pee and come back? And then
come back and let's delve into that. Yes.
And I'd like to just ask Henrietta directly, because I be getting some resistance and some acceptance of psychic abilities. And on this show, I have had moments of just where people are like, how the fuck did you know that? And I was like, I have no idea. I'm sorry. So, you know, because I see things. Anyway, give me a minute. Let me just take a pee break, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm gonna just go off camera so I can be private, and I'll be back.
Yes.
Okay.
No problem. We'll chit chat. Hi, Shell. Oh, that was so good to hear you say that. It's really good, because I was just thinking, like, you know, just saying that is fantastic. And I was thinking the very same thing. And like, it really helped me go like, oh, wait, that's when I feel like I write a poem or a story, or I'm engaged with somebody in a conversation where that happens, where it's nothing to do with me, then, you know, something comes out which is unexpected. And it's to do with like the other person receives it in that way, which is sort of like, oh, it gives them the freedom.
I definitely believe in that as well. That is really that passing of energy, really, because what it is
so it's a relationship. It always is, like the collaboration thing, you know. But because if you never see a person but they listen to your song, you've basically, it's like giving. We're giving thing. Everybody,
you are giving a thing.
Things. You're giving a thing, and you're giving the most precious thing.
Yeah,
which is the most precious jewel of all, which is like a piece of yourself, which is unique to somebody else's uniqueness. And it gives them like this sort of knowledge, because I've experienced it when people have given it to me, that I too can, like, it allows me the freedom to sort of give something else to somebody else, or, you know.
Well, I think what yours does for you and what mine does for me, it allows the noise in our brain to stop. It allows everything to stop going on, because we're like locked in to our creative channel that is us locking into our true selves. And then when someone receives a true, authentic offering, my wholehearted belief is that they feel it. And also, this is because I've accidentally done the market research, because I've written songs where I've gone, I'm going to just bang this out.
Yes.
And obviously I've written songs where I'm just locked in, eyes closed, pain, heart, voice.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
And I've seen the results. So I've seen, you know, that, of course, always on those authentic expressions are the ones where you've got another person, email,
yes,
follow up, blah, 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 blah. You know, and then you've got, you know, you've written a quick pop song for someone and it was, you know, I don't know, it's a session. It wasn't really something from your core of your heart. And it's a nice little pop song, fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's like the market research shows that it's just that
the evidence,
exchange of authenticity in creativity. So, you know,
mate.
Are you guys ready to start up again? I'm back.
Yes.
All right. So let me just bring us back in, and then Henrietta, it's cool.
Yes.
I really want to talk about this psychic thing, because it's been a point of contention, and I'd like to.
Oh,
yeah.
I feel like I'd love to talk about that more than anything, actually.
Fair enough. Is more than what?
Well, I just feel like I'd like to talk about that more than anything, because I think it's really fascinating and wonderful thing.
I agree. So let me just give a little intro, and then we'll get into it. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, we're back with Henrietta Weeks and Shelley Harland, and you know, Henrietta, towards you and I mean, at least me, I believe after I had my brain surgeries, I get this feeling that I'm psychic, you know, and a lot of people have resistance to that, or, you know, don't feel like psychic abilities exist. And so I know that you have those, you know, abilities, in my opinion. So how can we define that for people? What does being psychic mean, or what does it mean to you?
Well, I guess what I would say first is that I think, you know, everybody has the psychic abilities in them. They might be, you know, quite dormant or very buried, and they might not appear in one's lifetime. But I do think that some people are just kind of, for whatever reason, you know, born with that. And I think that I was. But I personally didn't acknowledge it for many, many years until I met psychics in New York who were working as psychics or intuitives and doing quite well. And they would all say, oh, you know, which, by the way, I've only started saying this recently, because it is, you guard it because you feel like it's very weird. You don't understand what it is. So you don't want to claim that you are. But they would all say, you know, you've got it as well. And then actually, interestingly, these relationships I made with these psychics in New York a few years ago, they would start asking me to read for them, but it was all very private. Like, for instance, one guy would come over to my apartment and I'd be thinking that, oh, he's going to give me lots of juicy information. because he's really accurate and it's very helpful. But then he would start asking me questions, and it was like, all I can say is that then we'd go into this other space where we were communicating
telepathically or something like that, or
well, yeah, it feels like, this not you get a sort of you get a knowing, and then it really just is being sort of brave enough to say it. But I would always preface it with like, I don't know, but I feel this. And I discover that the more I just stopped thinking about what it was, the more stuff was coming through. And, so I don't think it's really hard to sort of define it, but, words are interesting to me, because I think a lot of people are put off by the word psychic. And now, of course, lots of people use intuitive guides and all that kind of thing. But
or
in a
empath
way,
or something like that. Empath.
yeah. But all of those are human aptitudes that we all have. But some people's are more developed for one reason or another. And I would say that, I just happen to be, personally, I know this about myself. I've always been highly sensitive. Like, I feel people's emotions. And then I sort of see certain things about them, and I've taken a wild guess. Like, things have just come out of my mouth, like, oh, did you have an argument with your mother? Or, why has your father got this huge sort of grip on you? And they'd go like, how did you know that? And I'd say, well, I don't know how I know that, but I just have this feeling that you do. So, I know some psychics, I know quite a lot of psychics, and they get sort of messages told to them through, voices, or they see things like in pictures. Mine is very much like, literally like a feeling in my body that I get, that I then just try and translate into language. And I'm always like, it's questionable whether it's accurate, but if the other person is getting something from it, then it becomes a two-way process. So it's not me saying, this and this about you. It's like they're giving you feedback, and it's sort of like this amazing mind feedback that then you're actually both doing it together. So they're discovering things about themselves that were hidden to themselves, because you're kind of like activating a little bit. So that's kind of how I feel about it. And I also just honestly kind of like, I know you both are, like, I love people and I want everyone to be happy. I want everyone to be who they are. I want people not happy, but I want them to be liberated from like, I should do this and I should do that. Because that was how I was raised. Like, you should be this, you should marry that guy, you should have that education, you should do that job. But because I could never follow that path because it didn't make sense to me, I like to feel that when you're in that psychic space with someone, or whatever you want to call it, it allows people the freedom to discover things about themselves, and also to sort of help them out of like really ingrained patterns. And it, I don't know, for me, it's all about, if you don't have joy and humor when you're talking about it, and this kind of laugh about, I don't know what it is, because you don't want to tell anybody anything. You just want to suggest that maybe this is what's happening. Well, and then they are the confirmation. They go like, or they say much later on, holy shit, how did you know that? So I don't think it can be defined yet. Science might yet find a way to sort of go, oh, it's this part of the brain, or the mind, right? But at the moment, it's still a very, but people can do it. I know Andrew's done it. I know Shelley can do it. I know a whole bunch of like amazing psychics that are quite under the radar, but they have amazing information for you. Like, it's unbelievable, and it's so helpful.
Well, it's so weird. I might have my I don't know what to call it, but I had my winning argument with this when I had brain cancer, and I went to a psychic, right? Like, think about like that thing on the street, like $10,
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? Shelley, do you know?
Totally. The $10
What?
psychic reader.
Right.
Oh,
And
okay.
hold on a second. And let me tell my little anecdote, and then you both can go on. And he was like, "Yeah, you're gonna be fine." I was like, "What do you mean? I have brain cancer." He's like, "Nah, you'll be fine."
Yeah.
And if he's like, "If you want more, information, you can give me more money." I was like, "No, that's good. Here's your $10
Yeah,
or
that's
whatever
enough.
it was." He's like, "Yeah, you'll be fine." And I was like,
seen
"All right."
those
I was
$10
like, "That's
people.
enough for me." But my point about that story is that the person has to be willing to accept the information.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think that ties into what you were saying, Henrietta, is that, I was like, okay, I'll be fine.
Yeah, well, that's the beautiful thing, that it's like this lovely, deep, authentic sort of relationship, which, by the way, I have, with you, Andrew, having never met you personally.
Right, we've never met.
We've never met.
I never
personally.
knew that.
No, I've never met either of you.
We've never met.
No.
But the thing is that I think I got to know about you like a year ago in September, and then we didn't start really talking till maybe December, so it was right before the pandemic. But honestly, I would consider you like a person, like a go-to person, because I trust, love, and respect you, and you're so much fun. But because that sort of space when allow yourself to be, there's sort of no judgment. You're just like, you're just letting the information flow between you, and like you say, if people are willing. Actually, I have a good little quick story, is that I have a friend who absolutely is a sort of rational skeptic person, who, a journalist in New York, who got cancer this year. And she told me the other day, so she's been doing so many different sessions with different healers, like remote healing, remote Reiki, because of course it has to be remote, because there can't be any hands-on, and psychic sessions. And then she had a session about somebody who could see her Akashic records and things like that. If she'd said that to me 4 years ago, I would have thought, well, who is this person? Has she gone mad? So it's kind of like, I sometimes think that the interesting thing about this time we're in is that so many people we're all confused. We have no idea sort of how the world's going to shape up in any which way. And it's like, I just think people are more open to sort of receiving like help, comfort, insights, discussions. Call it what you will. But I also think like a good psychic is actually, I think you don't want to put people off by kind of saying, I see this. You want to meet them where they're at. That's my...
Well, it's just like having a chat. It's just chatting.
It's just like having a chat. But if you see something important, like how do you tell them that? Like, oh, you should really, that guy you're with is like, a monster, and I see violence in your future. If something like that, you want to say it in a way that's I think that's the art. Like, you have a responsibility, really,
of how to deliver it.
Of how to deliver it to the person where they're at, which is about
it's all about knowing. It's all about knowing your audience, right? That's what it is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think what you said, H, about people being in a different headspace right now, as in maybe they're able to receive more. I mean, we've been friends for over 20 years, and it was only 2 years ago, was it 2 years, maybe a bit longer, that we first exchanged our psychic stories.
Experiences, yes.
Exactly. And we'd never touched on that subject, ever. And we just came to, and I was like, hey, this has been happening. And she's like, oh, this has been happening. And, amazing, great, exchanging of stories and experiences kind of since then. But, perhaps that's also just what's happening maybe as well in the world, hopefully a bit more, where maybe we're able to receive a bit more than perhaps we were before. I don't know.
I think so. And also just, well, the other thing is that, let's be honest, you know, people are much more desperate for you know, that you can, it's so much harder to distract ourselves with, oh, I'll go to a movie, I'll have a meal, I'll have another date. You know, when you're sort of pushed into a space where you're confronted with like, what is my life actually? Then you're allowed to sort of explore that more. I mean, so you know, I like the fact that people are kind of just, without being like self-absorbed, they're just actually really thinking about like, what are we as humans?
Yes.
What are our
the point?
Yes. And then, oh, my dreams are really weird, and time seems to become different. It's like, yeah, funny that once you take away all these structures, like what actually is left? And then, so I think people are like relating on a much more deeper level, which I would call this sort of psychic space, which is...
Well, and recognizing the magic too. So I used to go, when we worked at our private investigators age, I used to leave there and go to Harlem and work with a producer who became a really good friend of mine. And he taught me something really important. This was years ago, but that I've carried through life. And that is to just take the word coincidence out of your vocabulary, because
no random, no coincidence. There's none of that.
Most people go, oh my God, what a coincidence. Wow, I can't believe, that's crazy, you know. So removing that from my life from a young age as well was just really brilliant, because it's like, oh, no, it's not a coincidence. It's a really awesome, amazing thing that's just happened. Are you okay? Oh.
Yeah, I was thinking like, Andrew,
Did you call Mrs. Mayer?
No.
Is everything okay? How's the water?
Yeah, everything's okay.
All right. Did I wake you? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Listen, thanks for thinking of me.
No, I saw that you might have called. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. That's okay. Thank you, Andrew.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God, she's so amazing. She's just like, what a spirit.
Yep.
I've never heard her voice. But she's so like, no, Andrew, really, I'm fine. That's okay.
I think she's on. I think she's on to me because I did that last night too.
Oh,
you know what you hear in her voice is just this tremendous.
It's like amazing,
appreciation.
Right?
This appreciation for her life. That's what I heard.
It's amazing. I mean, she's 100 years old. It's
like honoring her life, like, and other people's.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing ever. Best attitude you could have.
I know she's down there crying. That's why I called. Just because she's down there. Her nephew died, you know, from COVID and stuff. But you know.
God, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was like 80, something like that. I think I told you both.
Oh, really? I didn't realize he was that age, actually. When he said nephew, I imagined him in his 40s.
No, Mrs. Mayer was an oops. So she was like, her mom, Nancy, was like 42, 43 when she had her. And so all her nieces and nephews are about the same age, you know. But that was pretty cool, right? She's cool, man. I love Mrs. Mayer, man.
Wonderful.
I think you should do another video for her. It doesn't have to be her birthday. Like,
No,
wait,
really.
Hold on,
Why
Shelley.
not?
Shelley, hold on. Here's why not, okay? Here's why not. So I talked to you. I talked to Henrietta, right? Henrietta, I talked to you. I talked to my other friends. I'm like, you want to send a video? And I make this video. And I hope you watched it. And it was really beautiful.
Yes.
And so I talked to her son and her daughter-in-law, John and Ronnie. And like, we're not going to be a fucking part of your fucking amateur fucking video. And I'm not kidding. I'll send you the text. And I'm like, well, I just thought you might want to make a video for your mother-in-law, but okay, yeah, but it's old school Brooklyn shit, man.
Yeah, totally. I know those people. I lived there. I know the whole thing.
She's like, Andrew, why is John not in the video? And I'm like, her son, John. He's like, I don't know. I don't say anything. I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe they were busy or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
They were like,
that is a bummer.
it like totally knocked me down, to be honest.
But she loved it so much.
We cried the whole time. And I told Henrietta, I told you when we got to your poem, in the poem that I'm going to tell you now, I have to come back. And I'm like, all right, Mrs. Mayer is not going to get this, so I got to talk now. And she says, she didn't say Henrietta. She goes, she's so pretty. And I was trying to distract her because Henrietta goes on for like 20 minutes. And
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. And then like you go on. And she goes, Andrew, shut up. I want to listen. I'm like, okay, fine.
Because she's got all the time in the world. Which is great.
But I thought she wouldn't understand. But she's like, I want to listen, Andrew. Shut up. I was like, okay.
Well, H also does have the best voice in the world to read.
Fucking best voice in the world. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Henrietta has the best voice in the fucking world.
And that is a gift. That her voice makes you feel joy and comfort, and that's huge. It's beautiful.
I swear to you, I'm sitting down there. She's in her house coat, Mrs. Mayer, and I put the video on my computer, which she doesn't even know what she's looking at, right? Like she doesn't know what a computer is, right? And we get to Henrietta, and it's just like, I'm like, I gotta distract her, man.
Because she's not going to understand.
Yeah, she's not going to understand.
Long.
And she's like, Andrew, and she doesn't hit me hard. She just like taps me, right? Like, Andrew, shut up. And it was just so, thank you, both of you. And I mean, Shelley, she didn't notice you yet. I mean, because you were short with your video.
I was very short.
Yeah, you were short.
The opposite.
And, with the family.
That's probably right. I took a guess. I mean, I just thought, I know this seems really egomaniacal because it's really long, but this is the one I've got to read for.
Yeah, it totally
rocks. That's the one because it's fun. And I think that fun is needed. I didn't want to read a, in-depth Wordsworth. I wanted to do something really fun. And that was the only one that I could.
It was amazing. And I'm just trying to tell you that she was so moved, not by just you, Henrietta, but the whole thing.
Yeah,
she's like,
I bet she was.
And some of her family did come in and then some of her family did afterwards say, oh, can we do an addendum? Can we send an after birthday thing? Right. They were like, oh, right. All right. This is cool.
Because they got it.
They got it.
Realized the value.
Right. Yeah. But the one mafia family guy, that was like, I'm not doing your fucking, amateur fucking video. I was like, all right.
That was the family that lived above me when I lived in Carroll Gardens.
Really?
It was the mum and all the older
I'm not making it up, Henrietta. I am not making it up. I will send you the text. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, I believe you. I know those people too.
but you know what? They were lovable, but they were absolutely those people as well. But we'd be in our apartment. This is the Carroll Gardens 1H where you lived for a while.
Yeah.
Do you remember her at all? And she'd shout down, Shelley, you want some spaghetti?
Yeah, totally. That's totally my life. Oh my God.
I love New York for that.
Literally, I was in my apartment and I'd be like opening the door.
No.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
No, wait.
It was like I lived in her house as far as she was concerned.
Yeah. No, Mrs. Mayer yesterday said, Andrew, you want a meatball? And I used to say no, right? Like I would say no, but now I learned, I just say, yeah, I want a meatball.
Yes.
She goes, it has the gravy, Andrew. It's very good. I'm like, okay.
Oh my God, I love it.
Okay. I'll take the gravy.
What? That is that kind of that era. That's
it's a lost era.
It is good to hold on to. It's like our old private detective boss. There will be no one like him ever again, if there ever was. Well, I mean, he was similar to, but that era of putting a matchstick on the door to see if someone had walked in. You know? Not a camera. Not a camera. Like, such bullshit. Really.
Oh my God,
The best.
I love it. It is the fun.
You're like, you're describing my life right now. Like, you don't even know. Like, I'm like, Mrs. Mayor, why don't we just get a professional? She goes, Andrew, there's ice on the house. I'm like, how do you know? You can't even go outside. She goes, I called the neighbor. They looked at the house and called me and told me that there's ice on the house. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
What do we do next? I said, I could call a professional, right? And the whole matchstick on the door, like, you know, like, like the thing.
No,
like,
that is it. He had a calculator on his desk that he would call the computer. Like, that was. Oh my
God, I love it.
You know, he was just like, honey, the computer's not working, or, you know, whatever. And this is the calculator. Don't you remember? I mean, all the papers over the floor, H. Remember? Like, just nothing.
No, he's like a real diehard, like Columbo gumshoe, and it was just a blast being in his presence. And really interesting. And if you think about it, actually, just going back to that subject, it's interesting that we had those little stints, mine shorter than you, but as investigators, because actually that's kind of what you're doing when you're doing the psychic thing. You're investigating with somebody else, like, all these other realms that you can't, things that you can't see solidly, but you are investigating.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that you're sort of like, you know, or you're just having a little.
Actually, investigations is a great word for it. Investigation.
Let's be investigators.
Meanwhile, our background is working at a Private Eyes in New York City. So it's not
Private Eye.
And writing
Private
down
Eye.
Investigating. Oh, yes. Private Eye.
Detective and Private Eye.
I mean, I have to admit.
Private Third Eye.
Right.
Yes.
I have to.
Private Third.
Right. Oh, sorry. Am I interrupting? Sorry.
No.
But I have to admit that the things that I see, I guess psychically or whatever, intuitively or whatever you want to call it, are. I've had to learn to unlearn to say them, because it can sometimes hurt people. And so what, like, I mean, and this may be too avant-garde for you, Shelley, but like your kid there, that one boy, I think he's really psychic, and he might see shit that you're like maybe saying, how the fuck did you know that? But probably not, because you're Shelley. But
no, I love it. I support it, and I totally recognize it.
See it,
right? But what if when I was a kid, I saw stuff, and I'm not going to mention it here because I'm getting better, like self-editing. But what if your kid saw something that was just like horrific? Our neighbor killed our other neighbor, or or whatever it is. I mean, like, what do you do with that? Like, how do you handle that shit?
I would
crazy.
I mean, if that actually happened, as in he would say that to me, I would just sit and listen to what he had to say. I wouldn't.
And then you take action?
My opinion. I mean, look, if he woke up every day and said it for a certain amount of time and it was specific and had details, I'd totally take action. Yes. But if whatever he said in that moment, I'd say, wow, really? I mean, look, that's how we parent. We treat them like they're our little mates, and they are our little mates. They're our people. They're not, we're not like, we don't tell them what to say or how to think. So they are fully open to, tell us anything that they think or feel. Plus also, they've grown up with, we've all kind of experienced the magic a bit together, because because of my little one, the things he would just come out with and say that were just sort of undeniable, that we all went, oh my God. And then just the things that have happened along the way with my dad and many other things, that's like, well, we can't deny that just happened in front of our face. And so for them, their upbringing, which is so amazing, because mine was like, I wasn't religious. It was death, gone, dark, dead. Nothing. That's what I had to look forward to. And what's been incredible for our kids is that they're like, oh my God, the magic that awaits. They're like,
Yes.
wow, it's incredible. None of us have a clue. There's so much, So they, and that also just feeds into really fun little things that every time we all love op shopping. I can't remember in America if they call it op shopping, but secondhand clothes and stuff.
Right. No, they don't.
I think in Australia they call it op shops. Charity shops, op shopping, secondhand, vintage.
Like a flea market or something.
Thrifts.
More like a thrift store. So more like a Salvos.
A thrift store,
like
right? Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
And everything is Salvos, Vinos, or whatever it is in Australia. But Salvation Army is what I'm talking about. But we thread that magic through our daily life. There is never a time where we don't go and then all sit in the car outside and lock in to what we want to find in there. All four of us are like, okay, I want this, I want this, I want this. And honestly, so much brilliant sort of magic every time. Blue will be like, I want some rollerblades. I really want some rollerblades. And he's gone in and he's found these bright pink rollerblades, and he's, and it's like, they just believe in the magic. When we play Yahtzee at home, we love Yahtzee. They're like, the whole family's like, he needs a 5, he needs a 5, he needs a 5, he needs a 5. And, sometimes he gets 5s and it's like, see?
Right.
So they live their life with knowing that we haven't got a clue and it's all magic, and to recognize those moments and to not go, oh, what coincidence.
No, I actually, sorry, Henrietta, if you want to go ahead. But I had actually a conversation earlier with a graphic designer and a video editor who's like, do you believe in magic? I was like, of course I do. And she said, her name's Lucy. And Lucy, yeah. And she said, do you believe in magic? I said, yeah. And she said, do you believe in magic? I said, yes. She goes, do you believe in magic? And she kept saying it. I was like, yeah. She's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. And maybe we went on for 20 minutes. I don't know the exact conversation time, maybe 30 minutes, something. I was like, yeah, I believe in magic. But at the same time, I understand that, as children, we're programmed, and our parents tell us, or our teachers, or, our, superiors, whatever they are, our government, that we can't do shit. We can't do this. We can't do this because it's not engaging, or we can't, in your case, Shelley, we can't sing, or in your case, Henrietta, with the most amazing voice. And I'm glad, Shelley, to hear you say that, because I'm like, I copied your one of your audio messages, Henrietta, and I've been passing around to my friends. I'm like, does she have like the greatest voice ever, or am I crazy? And they're like, holy shit, man. Who is this person? I was like, it's my friend Henrietta, and she's just amazing.
Wow, well, that's good to hear. I want to use it then. I mean, in the sense that I like being able to talk to people, basically.
Yeah, but I think we're just all conditioned. Maybe not Shelley's kids, whatever, fine.
No, they're not.
I believe that. But, me coming up, all my parents told me was like, you're not good enough.
Oh, yeah, that was my feedback.
That's the thing. That's what we all, you're this big. You can only do,
who do you think you
should do this.
Right.
Yeah.
You should do this.
Like, maybe you can work in a warehouse. Maybe you can do this, but you're not good enough to do this. I'm like, really? I mean,
or maybe you can work in a bank. That was something I was like, I'd love to. I believe in banks. I think
maybe you could be a
really appropriate.
A bank teller. Maybe you could be a bank teller if you were really good.
Or I could be a PR, or I could be an assistant to a really powerful man. It's like, oh, that's appealing.
Right. I'm only laughing because I got the same shit, and I'm a man. My dad's like, maybe you could, mow lawns, for the rest of your life, or
No, you know what? It's, for me personally, it's like I've done many different things in my life, I've not had one thing. I know now what I really love to do and blah, blah, blah. But the thing that I've always, I won't let go of is like my personal freedom. Like, so if I've had a job that I've really hated, I've gone like, I'm practical. I know I have to earn a living, but if I really hate it, I fucking leave. I just leave.
Right.
And I'll find another one. I won't do something where if I feel that feeling of like, I'm now a slave, I mean, if that's not to say I won't do what needs to be done, but do you know what I mean? It's like my highest aim is to feel that, I can live this one short life feeling liberated inside. And I want other people to know what that feels like.
Well, so tell them.
Well, it feels fucking great because then you are investigating your life continually. And it's like, you also, look, I don't think I would have made a connection with someone like you, Andrew, if I didn't live my life that way. Because I met you because someone said, oh, he's great. He's great to talk to. You should talk to him. And I went, yeah, okay. And then off we went, just sort of exploring however that went. And Shelley and I just sort of like cruised along with whatever was happening to us. And then we'd go for like maybe years without speaking. And then we came together just because we wanted to again when I was in Australia. And we started like going, oh, I've had this weird experience, that weird experience, at the same time talking about our love of art and creating. And then we just have spoken pretty much every day in one way or another since that moment. And now we want to work together as investigators.
Yeah, investigating.
Like helping people find, not helping, but just saying like, hey, you can have this too. If you're feeling really shit, there might be a little thing you could do where you don't feel so shit. That's enough.
Helping people navigate to their inner compass.
Yeah, or just like, you don't have to feel like a friend of mine keeps phoning me going, oh my God, I'm so afraid I'm going to lose my job. I don't think I'm ever going to get married and have kids. How can that all happen in the pandemic? And she said to me, well, I've called you because I feel like you're the closest person to God. And I laughed, going, I don't know what that means. But it just means that if you free yourself from those things that you think you want, you might discover that you can be happy without those things sort of making
you never needed them anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Society telling you that you should.
Yes, and let life kind of lead you, rather than you decide what you want. I don't know.
Well,
you know what I mean? Is that clear or very unclear?
I think it's very clear. I mean, I don't have any. All right, Henrietta, I have an ask of you. All right, and that's the reality is that I want to ask you if you would say the Andrew D'Angelo podcast and let us use it as an intro to the podcast. That's what I want.
Yes.
All right.
That's a great idea.
I want to use my voice for anything that is good.
Well, maybe I can do your jingle.
You.
What's that?
H can do the talking and I can do a little jingle.
Fair enough. So, so my video editor and audio editor said that we have to turn our audio off, Shelley. And
yes, why she does it.
Right, why she does it. And I think you should just say, the Andrew D'Angelo podcast, but you can do what you want. You can say, welcome to the Andrew D'Angelo podcast. I don't know if you want a script, but
yes,
I think it'd be.
You can write a little script and I'll do it, but I'll tell you what, I'm not going to do it here because this room is really bad.
No, but they won't show your video. It's just your voice. Henrietta, Shelley, tell her again, your voice is just, I have never met anybody with a voice like you.
Well, H can be the number one you know, in my head I'm going vocals, top line, but it's not, you know, like
MILF?
voice.
No, I'm sorry.
H can be the number one voice actor in the world, as far as I'm concerned.
It's so good, Henrietta. And I swear to you, my podcast is going to become very famous, and you'll be very famous.
Hey.
And I will give you full credit. I'm not one of those people who's just going to be like, yeah, it was just.
No, I know you're not. But also, I just want to do it for you. You know, for you.
Well, look, why don't we, as an editor, I know what your editor wants. Why don't Andrew and I mute us and H, just give 3 or 4 takes of something different each time, so he's got something to play with. So just say.
Can I make a request though? Just because I know what I'm like. I'm quite shy sometimes, and I know. And also, when I'm recording stuff, I go and sit in the car because it's like a recording studio. Because there's a lot of noises here, and if I'm just with myself, I can kind of play with things. Whereas I'll be a bit more free and natural that way, and then I'll just send it to you.
Okay.
But have you got any things that you'd like me to say? Because I'll say anything that you want me to say.
Will you? Anything?
Yes. Anything at all.
All right. So
because it's Andrew.
So
anything.
By the way, can I just say one thing? This is actually it then, isn't it? This wasn't the pre-conversation. This is it.
Yeah, it's your fault, by the way, Shelley. I told you. I told you, Shelley.
This is the thing. I came in going, oh, I'm fine. I can swear. I can do whatever I want. Because
I had no idea. What?
This is the pre-conversation, and this is now it. We've covered so much.
It's so good.
You're a little trickster.
Is it? You are
me?
naughty.
You were. I just said, all right. You guys are trying to trick me into like having the conversation, so I'll do it.
No.
All right.
But this is great. I'm actually really
All right.
This is it. We're doing it.
I know.
I love it.
So
we have been doing it, H. She's been recording this whole thing.
Oh yeah.
I know, but I thought it was just a trial.
I have been recording.
No,
yes.
This is it.
Yeah.
I have been recording.
This is it?
It's good. I actually think it's good because it's been really natural.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, it can be the dress rehearsal.
Just
I don't care.
I don't care either. Whatever you want.
I think we've been.
I think
is how it goes.
Here's what I think we should do. I'm going to be like those fucking assholes on Capitol Hill in America. Yeah, exactly. And I'm can we? Come on, Henrietta, just say it. The Angelo podcast. Yeah, but we have to go off.
Okay.
We have to go off.
Okay,
we'll go off.
I'll say it.
Yeah, just say
try.
it. We'll go off now.
I don't know what to say. That this is where I go all shy and weird. But you see, what do I say? Okay. Welcome to the Andrew D'Angelo podcast. He's so gorgeous. You can't fail to have a fantastic time. This is the Andrew D'Angelo podcast. He has some really amazing people all the time. Welcome to the Andrew D'Angelo podcast. If there's anybody that you want to listen to, it's him. That's all I'm doing right now.
You killed it. You killed it.
You fucking beautiful. Yeah, you fucking rocked it. Like she doesn't know she says podcast, right? Like she doesn't even know. Like, welcome to the Andrew D'Angelo podcast. Like, I mean, I'm not even saying it right. Holy shit.
It's so nice to be appreciated just for speaking.
Well,
I love it.
It is, but it's like it's that simple that's one of your biggest gifts to offer, and you overlook it. It's like that's it. That is the main one. It's so perfect.
Yeah, no, good, because yay, hooray! I mean, especially when we're doing
yay,
yay, hooray,
hooray!
No, but listen, the other thing that I do want to say, because we've been talking about this psychic thing, and it's like coming out of the closet. But it's like all three of us have got some strange, things going on in our lives, like dreams or funny, funky stuff, or things that don't seem to be coincidences, or information about people. And it's just, I love talking to other people that are like you two, that are free with that, because it's just this immense relief for me, because I'm always censoring myself.
Yes. Yeah.
With other people.
I would say
Same here.
That is my
I'm
most
always
valuable.
Yeah, I'm censoring too all the time. Sorry, Shelley.
All the time. Yeah, just because you feel like you have to, because you don't want to freak them out. But it's lovely when you can just go like, whatever comes out, and it's so much fun.
It's true, but that's the most valuable thing that I have with you in our friendship, is that it is uncensored. There is zero judgment. And in that environment, you get to reveal and be more authentic than you could ever be, because of the non-judgment. Therefore, you get to explore on deeper levels than you ever would. So those two things are the catalyst to being able to even arrive in this arena kind of thing, mentally, which is so important. It's the non-judgment, and also
so like when your friends, right, people that you respect, I know we haven't met Henrietta in life, but you and Shelley know each other. When your friends are telling you how amazing you are, like, it's just like, okay, so like, what else do we have to do? I mean, it's just like, I mean, I've been applauded. I've had standing ovations of 10,000 people. I'm like, I'm not good enough, man. We've all been there, right? Like, whether it's one person that we love or a huge audience,
isn't it?
It's so weird that I'm like, people are like, man, you're doing great. Congratulations. And I'm like, I don't really like myself. It's it freaks me out.
Well, I think that's everyone, every single person.
Unless you're an egomaniac, which is probably not a good thing to be, because then you're sort of, to have that element of sort of doubt, or like, oh, I don't know what I do, is good, because it just keeps you from thinking that you're better than anybody else. To put it,
I think the questioning is the important part.
The doubting,
the questioning it, and then the putting it in the healthy place, not the downward spiral of it. So the questioning of, am I good at that? Do I need to do this? Is that for me? The questioning is healthy.
Yes,
and then
it is.
About, it's about conversations and the navigating, that, and not just letting yourself just go, no, I'm shit.
Exactly. Sort of, which using the doubt. You just sort of know it's there, but you want to keep going anyway. I heard this wonderful thing from a writer. She's written lots of successful television shows, and she's very funny and humble and cool. But she was asked, like, what's your process of writing? And she said, panic, 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 hope.
I love that. Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, there's like fucking.
Isn't that the creative process for everyone?
So I love that, because it's like but also you could apply that to this psychic thing when you're like, if you're doing a reading, it's like you're not panicking, but you're going, I don't know, and then maybe, panic, 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 hope. It's like, as long as you're not going, this is it. Because I think that's a dangerous space when you go, I know. Then you're like, really?
Oh my God, that's so true. That it's just like, right. We've all been through that. So what do we do? I mean, how do we change it? You know what I mean?
I don't know that we should change it. I think it's really wonderful that we can, like, we've laughed a lot. And the thing this whole time, it's like, you got to laugh at yourself. It's sort of like, I never trust anybody that goes, that goes very serious, and this is the way you should do something. I'm like, I don't know about that. It's just something in me that questions it. But if somebody like Andrew, when you've done psychic things for me, or Shelley, you're both like sort of laughing, but you're also giving me really good information, but you're laughing and you're also sort of, you're not second guessing yourself, but Andrew said, well, I don't know, you're just going to do what you're going to do, but this is what I'm seeing, but you go ahead and do what you want to do. So it's, you know, it's that thing of like, you don't take yourself seriously, but you also, we all know that there is that sort of like serious commitment to, you know, wanting to give something out.
You trust yourself enough to reveal what your intuitive, you know, voice is saying.
You trust yourself enough, but then you're not going to go, this is the word.
Yeah, and you don't have to be rocked by someone going, no. You can just be like, well, this is what I think. This is what I see.
Which Andrew does all the time to me, and I've loved that because he's always been no bullshit. And we've had a laugh. I've gone, oh, Andrew, you know, what about this? What about this person? What about this path? And he's like, well, I don't know, because you're going to just do what you want to do, and you should, because you'll discover that way. But I sort of feel that, you know, maybe they're a bit mean, or, you know, that could be a bit of a challenge for you, you know. And that's, it's weird. It lodges in your mind.
I have an analogy for that if you want to hear it, if you're up for it, either of you.
I do.
When I was going to have brain surgery, whatever, I bring this up a lot in the show, but, you know, when I met with this healer and psychic and I said, should I have brain surgery? And he said, it doesn't matter. You're going to do it anyway. Doesn't matter.
That's perfect.
And he goes, you'll be fine. And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, you'll be fine. Just do the brain surgery. I was like, okay. But
I mean, you kind of need that, don't you? You need someone to just be like, yeah, you'll be fine. Like, I mean, it's
because when your mom is on the ground crying and freaking out because you have brain cancer, you're like, what should I do, man? And I was like talking to this healer. He's like, yeah, just have the surgery. You'll be fine. And I swear to you, I'm not making this up. It's just the way we are, that we do not understand our, you know, some people do not understand. I mean, I like to think I'm, you know, what, better or something like that. What is that word? I don't know what the word is. Like, I just was like, oh, okay. Well, that brain surgery. And he's like, yeah, you'll be fine. I don't know. I don't have a follow through. I just was like, I wanted to like anecdote to Henrietta's statement, but you know what?
Yeah, no, I just like, well, I like that attitude you have. You also said to me something about like, I love that thing of like, you know, you're going to do what you're going to do, but sort of don't worry about it. As long as you, maybe the thing could be like, if you learn from it, you know, or not in a horrible way, but you sort of notice what's happening when you decide to do something. But also just have a good attitude, like you, Andrew, like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to have the surgery and I'm going to be fine. Well, guess what, you were. I'm not saying that happens for everyone, but there is something about bringing the attitude to whatever you're in that is going to help you out.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Everything.
Right, everything, but also it's about the person accepting it. So when I heard the info, you know, that you're going to be fine, I was like, oh, okay. Right? I mean, there's part of that, right?
Right.
Yes.
You know, like,
I love that.
Maybe, Shelley, you can relate with your kids, you know, like, son, you're going to have to take swimming lessons or, you know, whatever the fuck it is, or, you know, Henrietta in your life. I mean, you know, just like, you're going to do it and you'll be fine. And if you resist.
Yeah.
We actually had a very big episode in my house this morning based on the exact same circumstances, Andrew, because in 2 weeks, my son's got an audition for a music scholarship. And I was actually slightly a little, I don't know, curious, because he's been quite like, yeah, fine about it. And I was like, I'm not trust. There's something that's not right about how cool, calm, and collective he's being right now.
Right.
And then this morning we had the breakdown. So I went in to the studio with him to start learning a song. So he loves playing guitar and he's really good, but they've said, you've got to sing us a song with no instrument, like playing like a backing track, so that we can mark you on that, which should get you into like better chance of getting the scholarship. And so he doesn't normally just stand there and sing. Anyway, he wouldn't open his mouth this morning at all. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Snow, we've got 2 weeks. We've got to make a decision here. Is this a song you want to do? Da, 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 blah, blah, blah. And then he just burst into floods of tears and he was like, I don't want to do it. I'm so nervous. I don't want to do it. I can't. And I said, I would be freaked out if you were not nervous. Like, yeah. I said, if you did not feel nerves at this situation, I'd be worried about you being a really empty, robotic person. I was like, you will be petrified, and so will all the other kids going there. I said, because it's a really big deal. I said, I've been there, Dad's been there. I said, and I can give you all the tools. I said, but, you know, often when you want something, whether it's a job or, you know, like this audition or whatever it may be, in your life, you're going to feel this sick anxiety about certain situations. I said, you've just got to figure out how to face it and get through it so that you can get what you want, you know. And I said, you know, for many years, and even still now, because it's my most comfortable way to be, I will sing with my eyes closed in front of an audience, because that's how I cope with it. And it is how I lock in, and it's how I can lock them out if I can't deal with all that stuff. And, you know, I was like trying to explain it all to him, but it was a really big lesson from this morning. And he calmed down and he said, okay, I'm going to try and go for this. But it's a huge, really hard lesson to teach a 10-year-old. You know, it's like those nerves and those things are really real. How did we get to that part of the conversation, actually?
I don't know. I have no idea.
No, but it did trail off from something he said.
Here's I don't know how you guys haven't peed, but I'm going to pee again, and then when I come back, I'm going to take us out in case this is the podcast.
Yeah, cool, because they're going to kick me out of this room.
And also, I was going to say, Andrew, if there are any other like little pithy questions you want to ask either of us, you should.
I do, but I think we should do that on Thursday or Friday or whatever day.
Yes, like I love being interviewed. That's a thing that's really good. Like when you lead, kind of thing, because it. And
fair enough. I thought this was a pre-interview, so I'm just sitting here listening. That's all. I'm taking notes.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
What?
Panic, hope.
I mean.
Good.
But that was a great conversation, and so I have to go, and so let's pick it up.
Reconvene on Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, and I love you both, and that was an amazing conversation. I'll pass it by you before we do any editing or publishing, but like, whoa. I was
You're fantastic,
what?
Andrew.
Like,
Thank
what?
you, Andrew.
You and Shelley and
I know, but you. I just want to say you.
But you.
You're doing this.
Because
you've been like a major person for me this year. You and Shelley have been like two of my when I'm sort of going like, oh my God, I'm so confused. I just go, there's Andrew and Shelley, like laughing and going, no bullshit, telling me how it is. And I go, yeah, they're alive. I'm cool. If they're alive, everything's okay.
Yeah, no, it's
right. So much for my showmanship. But anyway, I love you both and have a great night. And
you too.
Thank you for being on. And we'll talk on Thursday or see what happens. All right.
Yes.
I love you.
Thanks, Andrew.
Love you.
All right.
Lots of love.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
Love. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Constant Constance. Tune in every week for new conversations. And if you want even more, check out Andrew's Patreon for more exclusive content and additional conversations. Hosted and produced by Andrew D'Angelo. Edited and mixed by Lucy Little. Original music by Andrew D'Angelo and Maximilian Moore D'Angelo. Intro is Henrietta Weeks. Thanks so much. See you next time.
You
sounded
fucking
beautiful.
yeah, you fucking rocked it. Like
You
she
killed
doesn't
it.
she doesn't know she says podcast, right? Like she doesn't even